Welcome to the Pre-Snap Podcast presented by LineStar. We've got your Super Bowl preview. The Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in a rematch of Super Bowl 57, but this is Super Bowl 59. Alongside me is Tyler Wiemann, breaking things down from both a DFS and prop betting perspective. We'll have your top prop bets, plus we'll have touchdown calls. And at the end, we'll tell you who we like to win Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans, the Big Easy, who will be partying on Bourbon Street after this one is over. We'll get into all of that. But first, if you haven't already, do us a huge favor right now. Like this video, subscribe to the LineStar YouTube channel, and comment below. We've got some contests that we'll talk about in just a bit. So to enter into that, you got to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. We're going to do a quick recap of last week before we get into this game's action. Tyler, I mean, how are you just feeling about these two teams? I did an early prop preview, and there were some people in the comments that were less than thrilled about this matchup, let's just say. The Chiefs and Philadelphia, two fan bases. I think really maybe the entire country rooting for Philadelphia. I'm not sure. Let us know in the comments, but what's your take, Tyler?
You know, that's such a double-edged sword because I feel like everybody hates the Philadelphia fan base. But
yeah.
Nobody wants to see KC keep winning it either. You know, it's kind of like how when the Patriots were on their run, everybody was so sick of watching the Patriots just keep doing it week in and week out, or year in and year out.
Right.
So, you know, it's just a dichotomy here where I understand why people are so frustrated. But as far as teams, these are absolutely two of the best teams that we have had all season long.
And we'll definitely dive into what our pick is of the game at the end of the show. But for right now, let's just look back on our picks over the last week. If you are new to this show, every week here on our channel, we give out free player prop picks. Plus, we also do the same thing for NBA every day. So if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. But recapping last week, 2-2 on our NFC Championship picks. And then on the AFC, we were just 1-2 on our picks. But Worthy had a touchdown for us that cashed in. Tyler, I was so mad on your behalf for that Josh Allen touchdown call that did not cash because he should have had it, in my opinion. And I'm still mad about that, not rewarding him with that first down that he clearly had. Nonetheless, the prop bet that we gave out for that AFC Championship game that we told you to pair it with on VIVIDPICKS was Khalil Shakir over 55.5 receiving yards. He only had 46. So we do have to announce a contest winner to start things off here. So the contest winner, basically every day on this show, we are going to give you one of our favorite picks to pair with the promo that you're going to get when you first sign up for VIVIDPICKS. And so $20, we didn't get that right. So $20 is going to Joshy Hello, the winner of our contest of $20. Again, to enter into that, all you got to do, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. And that looks like the avatar of Joshy Hello is that Jigglypuff from Pokemon? Tyler, I don't know if you know this, but I know my Pokemon. That looks like a Jigglypuff to me. Not a Pokemon guy?
Nope. I have no clue who that is.
We'll move it along then. All right, back to prop betting. Our featured partner for the Super Bowl is going to be Chalkboard because they've got some great promos going on. And if you use the promo code LineStar when you first download Chalkboard, you're going to get up to $100 of your first deposit matched. Plus, you'll also get a nice promo pick, which is what we love to see. I think there was one that was being given out 0.5 passing yards for Patrick Mahomes. I also saw another one pop up that I took advantage of, which was Saquon Barkley. His rushing yards total had been basically cut in half, so it's a really great deal for you. And then we'll give you one of our picks to pair it with. If that entry for some reason does not cash, we will give out $20 to a randomly selected commenter, just like we did for last week's AFC Championship game. All right, without further ado, let's just dive into this game. But before we do, a huge part of handicapping, as always, is taking a look at the injury report and seeing what we're working with as we head closer to Super Bowl kickoff here. Right now, it's looking like Kansas City is the healthier squad here. As of right now, everyone is estimated to practice. For the Eagles, they're dealing with a couple injuries that we do want to make note of. Guard Landon Dickerson did not practice with a knee injury. This was the knee injury that kept him out of that second half of the NFC Championship game. And center Cam Jurgens, also estimated as a DMP with a back injury. Running back Kenneth Gainwell, a DNP, concussion and knee, and Devontae Smith popped up on the injury report, DNP with a hamstring injury. So some things to watch for. We still got a week, so plenty of time for people to get healthy. And you imagine in this one that even if, you're injured in this one, you're putting everything on the line to try to play in this game. So let's just get into our player prop bets. Before we do have to tell you that all of our analysis is coming to you from the LineStar app and the PropsAI tool. You'll see some cool graphics pop up throughout this video. We will be referring to LineStar's projection throughout. It's called the PropsAI tool, and it basically helps you find the best value in the prop market by comparing LineStar's projection to what's out there in the prop market. Super helpful tool for those of you that are really into prop betting, and you can check it out for yourself if you'd like. LineStarApp.com, and you can actually get a free trial of LineStar if you download some of our partner apps. All the deals are listed below, so take advantage of it while you can. All right, let's get things rolling here. We're going to start off with LineStar's PropsAI pick, and then Tyler and I will each give out our own pick that we love for the Super Bowl. So let's just dive right into LineStar's pick, and it's going to be Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown over 68.5 receiving yards. LineStar's projection for Brown is 76.1. This is a guy who had basically been very minimally involved early in the playoffs, but just had 96 receiving yards against Washington, torched their defense, Marshawn Lattimore, averaging 83 receiving yards per game in the regular season. And now going up against a Kansas City Chiefs defense that is vulnerable in the secondary. In fact, they are 26th in pass defense DVOA versus wide receiver ones. Tyler, the way I look at this game in the way that Kansas City might try to play defense is, number one, you've got to stop Saquon first and foremost, which I believe could open things up on the back end for guys like A.J. Brown. And he is someone that could certainly take advantage of mismatches. What's your assessment?
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting spot for the Chiefs as far as how do you protect from Saquon on break a big one. If you try and stop the run, leave, one safety back, then if Saquon gets the second level, he's gone, So
yeah,
I don't think they can necessarily do that. I think they got to keep some guys back and protect from that big play from Saquon Barkley. And that's where I think A.J. Brown comes in, because they need to kind of spy and make sure Barkley is not rushing and doesn't have a lane for that big play. And that might give A.J. Brown just a little more time, a little more space to get a couple big plays. And that's all he really needs for this line at 68.5. It's a decent spot. You mentioned the DVOA being 26th. We have it on their team defense tool as their 18th versus the wide receiver one over the last 10 games. Still above average spot, and he's been averaging more yards than this all season long. So let's roll with it.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, a big factor for the Chiefs defense to contend with is going to be Saquon Barkley, limiting him, not allowing him to get to those second levels, because he does have, 7 touchdowns of 60-plus yards, which is just insane. Also, Tyler, you alerted me to the fact that it is his birthday, so they've got to contain him. But I think that could benefit guys like A.J. Brown. And one of the things that Jalen Hurts said after the NFC Championship game was that, finally the passing game started to emerge a little bit. And he kind of joked that, hey, the coaching staff kind of let him out of his straitjacket a little bit. They had basically been saying, just give it to Saquon, just rush the ball. And they're kind of allowing him in when they need to air it out a little bit. And I think they're going to have to trust their quarterback in the biggest game of the year. So I think that definitely he's going to have to connect with guys like A.J. Brown. Also, the Chiefs should mention that they're a pretty high rate of man coverage, and there is nobody that dominates man coverage more than A.J. Brown. We've seen it throughout the year, so that'll be something interesting to watch. All right, next up, Tyler and I are each going to give our favorite pick for the Super Bowl player props. Tyler, what player prop bet are you rolling with?
I'm rolling one that I liked last week, just rolling with it again, and that is Xavier Worthy over 5.5 rushing yards. On DraftKings, it's minus 112. Look, the Philadelphia Eagles are very good against the run, with running backs. They're also very good out wide to the wide receivers. I think it's going to be tough for the Chiefs to really move the ball. I think Andy Reid's going to have to reach into his bag of tricks and really work to get some of his weapons open in space. I think that's going to come with short passes to Worthy, as well as possibly a couple rushes. Since week 15, he's averaging 2.2 rushes per game. He's been playing over 80% of the snaps during that time and averaging 9.6 yards per game over that span. So I think he's going to get a couple attempts. And he is a guy that can really bust a big play. And I think it's going to be hard for KC to get that big play, and they're really going to need it. Kansas City Chiefs have only scored over 30 points like 3 times all year. The Eagles have done it 7 times. KC is going to have to score, and I think Andy Reid's going to have to get a little tricky.
Yeah, and what better player to get tricky with than the guy who broke the NFL Combine record for speed. Yeah. He's a very speedy guy that definitely, I think even the Eagles players who are very talented are going to have their hands full with him. So I like the fact that we're not going receiving yards here. We went receiving yards last week and we cashed with that, but the number has gotten so much higher, Tyler. I like that we're going rushing yards here. Even the rushing yards number is higher than it was last week, but still love the spot here. They're going to figure out ways to get the ball to one of their most talented weapons on offense. So I like the play there. For mine, I'm going to the quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, over on his rushing yards. It's at 24.5 right now, and I like the over here. Mahomes only averaged 19 rush yards per game during the regular season, but when we're in the playoffs, we're talking about a different Patrick Mahomes, one who averages 29 rush yards per game in the playoffs, and that includes 20 games since 2018, so decent sample size there. Plus, last Super Bowl against the Eagles, we saw him with 44 rush yards, and I just think the way this works is Patrick Mahomes goes to the huddle, calls a play, but then if it breaks down, there's a different one. And there's always the potential for some Mahomes magic and a little scramble here and there. And I think that might be the case, especially with an Eagles pass rush led by Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. I think they'll force Mahomes to do a lot of scrambling in this game. And actually, the Eagles allowed 20.8 rush yards per game to opposing quarterbacks this season in the regular season. That was 17th in the NFL. So they do allow opposing quarterbacks to run a little bit. In fact, Jaden Daniels, we just saw him put up 48 against this team. So I think this is a good spot to target here. Patrick Mahomes over on his rushing yards. Any thoughts on that, Tyler?
No, I mean, I agree. And it goes with my theory is KC is going to have to figure it out, going to have to figure out how to move the ball, going to have to figure out how to score some points. And Mahomes using his legs is just another weapon they can do.
All right, so those are our top 3. The one that we are going to pair with the promo on Chalkboard is going to be that A.J. Brown pick, because that is also the one that LineStar endorses as well. So, but hey, do you? But for our contest here on our YouTube channel, we're just rolling with A.J. Brown and then that promo pick that you're going to get. So if we cash, hopefully you guys tail us and make some money that way. If we don't get it right, you still win, because we're going to give out $20 to a randomly selected commenter. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. Lastly, Tyler, I did want to get your opinion on the most bet player prop bet as of today, which is actually Dallas Goedert over on his receiving yards. The line's moved around quite a bit. We're talking about over 48.5, the most bet player prop bet yet. That was kind of surprising to me, but we took him over last week and he cashed for us. But LineStar's projection is around 48. So I'm curious, Tyler, what your assessment is. I totally am kind of with the public on this one, given the fact that he's averaged 55 receiving yards per game in the playoffs and has absolutely dominated in the playoffs this year with 16 receptions for 206 yards. By the way, 148 of those were after the catch. So I figured we should just talk about it a little bit here on the show, because this is the most bet player prop and people might be curious where we are. I'm with the public. How about you?
As far as our team defense tool, the running back one being Saquon and Dallas Goedert have the best matchups. Dallas Goedert, we have KC at 30th versus tight end. So it's definitely a spot that they have had trouble with all season long. The public is being a little sharp. I never like to go with the crowd, though.
You're right. And I know.
So it's hard for me to jump on board with that, knowing how much it's been bet. But we'll see. If that line starts coming down a little bit, then maybe I'll jump on as well.
Also, I think it's interesting here, too, from the perspective of the Chiefs are top 5 in pressure rate and blitz rate. And do you know who Hurts targets the most when he's under pressure? It's A.J. Brown and it's Dallas Goedert. So I don't mind the pick. The public knows what they're talking about, I guess, here.
Another thing that should be said right now is the bets that have been placed now are probably more of the sharper bettors. As we get closer, the more novice, just doing it for entertainment bettors are probably going to be piling in. And so these lines are all going to move a lot.
All right. Well, that's a really good point there. If you'd like to check out the LineStar app and that PropsAI tool we've been talking about throughout this show, plus the team defense tool that Tyler's been alluding to as well, you can check that out at linestarapp.com. Now it's time for touchdown calls of the game. Tyler, where are you headed for an anytime touchdown in Super Bowl 59?
I got to go back to Jalen Hurts. We hit it last week. He's pretty much even money this week. It's minus 105. The brotherly shove is live and well. Hurts had more rushing touchdowns than Saquon Barkley in the regular season, and he's just simply a better value than Saquon for a touchdown. So let's hit Hurts.
Yeah, can't go wrong with a little brotherly shove in the Super Bowl on what has been the most effective play for that offense all season long. I like the play there. For mine, I'm going back to the guy I picked last week for an anytime touchdown. Last week it was plus 190, but this week plus 150 for Xavier Worthy anytime touchdown. I love this spot here for Worthy, who has 10 touchdowns from scrimmage this year, including the playoffs, 14 red zone targets over the last 8 weeks. That's actually the most of any pass catcher in this game. Yes, even ahead of Travis Kelce, who has 13 red zone targets in that same time span. Philadelphia defense is great, especially in the red zone. They're 5th in opponent red zone scoring, but wide receiver ones have had success against them. Just last week, Terry McLaurin scored against the Eagles. And as we know, Xavier Worthy is a guy who is very fast and speed kills. If anyone knows how to use a speedy weapon like Worthy, it's going to be Andy Reid and this Kansas City Chiefs offense. So I'm going Worthy here, little value at plus 150. Not as much as we had earlier, but I think they're going to use one of their best weapons that they have on offense in this game in the red zone. So we're going Worthy here. So those are our touchdown calls. Again, remember to check out the LineStar app. I alluded to some targets in the red zone. Also a very helpful tool right at your disposal on the LineStar app. All right, now let's just talk about this game overall, Tyler. I keep going back and forth. You know, the Chiefs are the favorites in this one. Which way are you leaning in terms of the sides?
I think that we're going to see the Philadelphia Eagles crowned champ. I'm going with the underdog. I think they should be the favorite. And I was kind of on the fence before really diving down and studying for this show a little bit. I think it's the Eagles' game to lose.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. And I want to pick the Chiefs just to go against you, but I just can't, because when I looked, whenever I have a tough time, I kind of just break it down. All right, quarterback, defense, who's got the better squad. And when you look at the talent that this Philadelphia Eagles team has from top to bottom, it's the Eagle. This is the team that's going to be tough to beat. And in fact, it was a tough team to beat during the regular season. Tyler, as I talked to you kind of before the show, I was just going through some of their losses. They have 3 losses in the regular season. And each of those losses, they had a significant piece of their offense or their team missing. I think it was the Bucs. They were missing Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown when they lost to them earlier in the season. They lost to the Atlanta Falcons. They were missing A.J. Brown. They lost to the Commanders in a game where Jalen Hurts got knocked out in the first half of that game. So this is now a team that is, for the most part, going to be close to full strength. I want no part of this team if I'm the opponent in this one. Kansas City Chiefs are going to have their hands full. Remember, they met 2 years ago, and it was a very close game. And in fact, if maybe Jalen Hurts and the Eagles had one more possession, they could have gotten the job done. But this time around, they've got that too. The quad father is on their side. So that's a tall task for Steve Spagnuolo and that Chiefs defense to take care of. And I don't know. I feel like the Eagles, but you do mention an important factor here is the
the
officiating.
Touched upon it.
It always seems like there's one play in the fourth quarter that swings the Chiefs' way here or there. Although I will say it is a credit to the coaching of Andy Reid and just knowing how to play things in the right way. And I think there's an element of coaching to that as well. But yeah, they have gotten the benefit of the doubt on some significant calls. Feel free to chime in on what your thoughts are in the comments of those. But ultimately, I think the Eagles' talent level, the only thing I am concerned about is on defense. They have a lot of young players that are really going to have to step up and not get fooled by Patrick Mahomes and this offense. So that'll be interesting to see. And I'm curious to see if the defense can force Jalen Hurts to make some mistakes, which he hasn't really made a ton of mistakes, but I'm sure that they're going to have some tricks up their sleeves. So it'll be interesting. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. That's going to do it for our Super Bowl preview, but we'll have more content coming your way here on the LineStar YouTube channel. Tons to get to as we get closer to kickoff for Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Tyler, so you thinking it's going to be a birthday party for Saquon, huh? They're going to celebrate it.
He's going to be partying for sure.
I mean, it does seem like it's part of the script, right? Saquon's birthday in New Orleans in the Super Bowl. The Eagles have been saying all year long that their season has felt like a movie. So maybe that's part of the script this year for the NFL. I'm sure the Chiefs aren't too happy about it as they look for their three-peat. But, hey, let us know what your picks are. If you've got any locks for the Super Bowl, please let us know. We're all just trying to help each other out. Get some nice winners for this Super Bowl. It's going to be a fun one. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you next time.